In the repair shop today,
This dial is certainly a mess.
Steve and Will battled to save a badly damaged clock.
I'm slightly nervous about this, actually, because this really needs to sit nice and flush with the rest of the casing.
And Lucia's curiosity is teased.
I think that top bit was definitely added later. I think she had something that was a little bit more alluring.
By a beautiful 1930s portrait.
Honestly, it never fails to thrill me.
What have you got there?
Don't worry, there's more on the way. Look at that.
Looks like a leg.
A leg on a rock.
A leg on a rock. Wow.
Arriving with the rest of this mysterious curio is Helen Elverstone from Llandudno. She's hoping silversmith Brenton West can make it complete again.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
I thank you. You?
I'm very good. So, Helen, hopefully you've got the remainder of what's supposed to be on
I've got
there.
the rest of, yeah.
That makes sense now.
Helps a lot.
OK, tell us about it, please.
I'm calling it a garden statue because it's been in the garden for many, many years.
Yeah.
But originally it was a statue in my grandparents' house on a plinth. And
Okay.
the story goes that the statue fell off the plinth and my granddad put him into this lump of concrete and he stood in their garden for many, many years. When my grandparents died,
Yeah.
my mum bought the statue from the garden to her garden. My granddad was a big gardener. He loved gardening. My mum loves gardening as well.
Okay.
And I do. So it's that sort of, I think, that link of something that was in the garden at such an important space for us. My mum, she died 4 months ago.
Sorry.
Sorry. The last time we saw her, we were sat in the garden and he was next to us. I saw my mum on the Saturday.
Yeah.
She died on the Monday. I went in the garden on the Thursday,
Okay.
and this is how I found him. He'd broken in that period of time, and I know that on the Saturday he was in one piece.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was pretty devastated, I must be honest, when I found him like that. It feels like she went and he went all in the same week. It was, yeah, it was hard.
Yeah. So you both would sit in the garden.
Yeah, the garden was always the special place that
Special place.
if I was going to have a conversation with her, it would be a different conversation if we were sat outside with the little man next to us, yeah.
What was she like as a mum?
She was a very reserved type of person, but we've just been clearing out the house, and she really was sentimental.
I've just done the same thing and they're full of surprises, aren't they?
Yeah, it's not a nice process to
No.
go through, is it? It's really tough.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but it's been nice to find the things that we have and,
Yeah.
to know how she, you know, what she felt.
And has he always been white?
I think he's been a few shades. I think it's, for me, it is more him being back together and being in a family garden again. That is the important thing for me. I've brought my mum's bench from her garden, so to be able to sit on her bench where we used to sit with the little man still next to me, yeah, just a reminder of my mum, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really important. It would mean so much. It really would.
Helen, thank you for bringing this in. And I cannot wait to see what Brenton does with this.
Thank you.
You take care now.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The last few months have been really hard, and I know that I'm never going to see my mum again. But the statue can be fixed. And I think to see him, to have that reminder, would just be, yeah, incredible. Such a beautiful thing to be able to do.
This poor chap has had a hard life. He's made out of a soft metal. It feels quite heavy. It could be lead, but I think it's spelter. He's hollow, and his hip area is really, really thin, and it wouldn't have taken much for this to break. So what I intend to do is to get a splint which fits into the leg and into the body, and this will make this statue stronger than it was when it was first made. I think the first thing that I need to do now, though, is to get this paint off. This has had many layers of paint on it over the years, so I'm just going to be really careful getting underneath the little flakes, and then I will use paint stripper to get the deeper layers off once these flaky bits are removed.
From one fragmented treasure to another. Sashti T-Bone has travelled from Chippenham with a family heirloom requiring the Midas touch of the Barnes experts.
Hi there.
Hi.
Lovely to meet you. What's inside the box?
My dad's clock.
Steve, I think I've got a lovely clock here for you, mate. Oh, look at that.
Hello.
Hi, Steve.
That looks in pretty poor condition.
It's terrible, Steve. It's been in the family over 100 odd years.
Okay.
It belonged to my great-grandfather.
Oh, right.
Who passed it on to my granddad, who then passed it on to my father, who then passed it on to me 8 years ago. And he said, this is for you, and I want you to look after it and cherish it. It was very, very precious to him. And I think he gave me the clock because he said you would be the only one to look after it.
What was your dad's name?
Kamal Tilak Singh. He lived in Trinidad, and I had a lovely childhood growing up in Trinidad with my dad and my brothers and my mum. We had lots of laughs, and the clock was my alarm clock for waking up. And every morning at 7 o'clock, I'd listen, I'll count each chime and think, oh, it's time to get up now for school. I was really interested and fascinated by it because, you know, with the key, and he would teach me how to wind it up. And he would tell me all his grandfather's stories, and it's treasurable because of all the chats and the communications we had together.
How did it get into this state?
It was hung up in our lounge, and we were having some building work done at the time.
Yeah.
And part of the ceiling came down onto the clock.
What? The ceiling came down onto the clock?
Yes. And there was a leak on the ceiling, drip, 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 and then it just came down on the area where the clock was hung. I was devastated. Absolutely devastated and livid as well. So cross with the builders, because my dad passed 4 years ago, not knowing that the clock was damaged or broken. I didn't tell him what had happened because he would have been absolutely devastated.
What would you like myself and Steve to do for you?
As long as it's working and it's chiming, that would mean so much to me and my dad. It'll remind me of Papa. Just that being in the house with us, every time I go past, I'll think of him. It'll be a dream come true, having it hung again in the house.
This is going to be such a challenge for us, but leave it with us and we'll get to work on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for that, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, all right, bye-bye now.
I feel sadness of how the clock got damaged because it made me feel as though I had broken his promise. It saddened me for weeks and weeks on end, and I just couldn't be able to forgive myself for that. The relationship that me and my dad had was very, very special. He was everything to me. So the clock was really, really, really special.
This clock is in real bad condition, Steve.
And I'm really worried about the mechanism. I'll get the mechanism out and then I'll give you the case.
Perfect.
Okay.
Cheers, mate.
Just taking the dial plate off so that I can see what the mechanism's going to be like. This was damaged not only by the ceiling collapsing, but also by the water pouring over it. This is the moment of truth, really. You can see there's rust up here, but it's not really bad. It could be a lot worse. Because I'm going to soak all the parts in a clock cleaning fluid so that I can see just how much damage has been caused by the wear and by the rust as well. Let's hope that does the business.
I've got all of the paint off of the statue. Now you can see the definition of the muscle and all of the fine parts of this athlete's body.
Brenton can now attempt a delicate surgical procedure.
I've got to make a splint between the body of this chap and his leg, so that splint becomes a strengthening brace for the glue that I'm going to be putting inside both of these parts. So this is a piece of brass which is nice and bendable. It's quite strong. It's just a perfect piece of metal for this job. I'm using a metal epoxy glue, which is one of the strongest glues that you can get, to attach the statue back to his leg. Got to get this absolutely right. If I put him on wonky or anything, it's going to look awful. And the aim of this is to get as much of this glue on the inside of the leg as possible. A little bit on the leg as well. Right, this is the make or break attachment. Foot down there, and that's just gone on there really nicely. So I just need to tape that into position now and let that set. The gentleman is now firmly back on his rock, ready to grace Helen's garden again. However, there is a small hole in his thigh, which I'm going to fill with some epoxy putty. I'm pretty happy with that, and I think when that's all the same colour, you won't even know that's been repaired. I've now primed Helen's statue. I found a multitude of colours on this statue as I was stripping the paint back, and one of those was gold, and I think that would look absolutely fantastic. There's no runs at all, which is very pleasing. I'm going to leave this to dry, and then I'm going to put an antique wax finish on it, and it'll be ready to give back to Helen.
Arriving at the barn with a tale of long-lost love, Amanda Anderson from Argyll. She's hoping art conservator Lucia Scalisi can give a very special painting the TLC that it deserves.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Lucia.
Pleased to meet you, Lucia. I'm Amanda.
Hello, Amanda. This is your painting.
It is, yes.
I've just been admiring it.
It's rather beautiful, isn't it?
It is, yes. What can you tell me about it?
This painting is of my grandmother, my father's mother. Anna Moyer Finlayson was her birth name. And she went on to marry my grandpa, and she was my granny fountain. We think she was about 19 when this was painted. She'd met the artist Hugh Adam Crawford, and they fell in love. Aww. And he painted this painting of my gran. Hugh asked my great-grandpa for my gran's hand in marriage, and unfortunately for Granny, my great-grandpa said no. There was a bit of an age gap, and she was only 19 at the time. But fortunately for me, he said no, because we wouldn't be here if he'd said yes.
That's a positive way of looking at it. Yeah.
But it definitely broke Gran's heart. It's a big impact on her. She was very much in love with him.
Did she ever talk about him?
Yes.
She did?
I used to go down and stay with her, and we'd sit and have a wee glass of wine and a blether, and she would always look at this painting and talk about Hugh, and oh, Hugh, she'd say.
How did she meet him?
Gran was a very sort of creative, arty person, and I think she found herself in the middle of the Glasgow art scene as it was then, and that's how they met.
So was she a student there?
No, I think she just liked to party with the artists.
Right. I can understand that.
She was always a very elegant rebel, and she was a tremendous party thrower. And she was wearing velvet trousers and smoking cigars long before any other lady would have done it. But a ladylike, elegant rebel.
So you stayed close with your grandmother all through your life.
Yes.
And celebrated life with her.
Yes, very much so.
And has it been in your possession for a long time?
She passed in 2014 at the age of 101. I think the family just decided that because of our special relationship, our special bond, that it was to hang on my wall for the next however long. So I was just blown away. I'd feel so lucky to have it. It's the best present I could ever had.
How joyous. What a fantastic gift.
Yeah, I think I cried for about an hour.
Yeah.
I do feel like she's always with me. I say good morning to her and I say good night to her, and there's a light that sits in front of her painting and I put it on for her at night. And I chat to her sometimes because my office is just in front of her. And I feel like she's watching over us all and taking care of us, definitely.
How come it's in this condition? Because it's obviously slipped in the frame.
It's really just from being moved over the years.
Right.
It's very, very badly cracked all around here. And we're not quite sure how the damage happened.
Yeah,
but just
leaning against something.
Yeah. She's a bit wonky and a bit grubby looking. Doesn't really suit her.
No, I think we can make some improvements on that. I'm really excited to start working on this. So thank you very much for bringing it in and telling the story.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I wouldn't want to leave it with anyone else, Lucia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Call myself the custodian because I really, really would love Gran's legacy to continue for as long as possible. And I have told my son that the first person in the family that doesn't hang it on a wall, I'm going to come back and haunt them. And I'll probably find Granny up there and bring her with me.
I'm quite excited about this. I think it's going to look really quite glorious. I think the contrast between this garnet coloured dress that she's wearing and then this opalescent background, I think is going to look really beautiful when it's cleaned. What I'm going to do first is do a quick cleaning test, but after that I'm going to work on the tears and then I'm going to clean it. I'm anticipating that this might lift the colour. Let's have a look what happens. It's not as yellow as I thought it would be, but it's very dirty.
While Steve continues cleaning the broken wall clock's mechanism, Will is attempting to reconstruct its shattered case, one piece at a time.
And that's that top circle complete. This bottom one's all here as well. Goes there. Hopefully. Yes, look at that. All of the pieces are here, which is good news for me. I need to clean off the surfaces, and once I've cleaned everything, then I can stick it back with some glue.
I have an issue with one of the wheels. You can see it's wobbling all over the place, and that means it's bent. So I need to straighten it up. I'm just going to pop that there. If I just spin the lathe, just slowly, you can see how much out it is. That is really bent. I'm just going to lever it and bend the wheel back. Almost there. Good. That's pretty spot on now.
Well, the glue has now dried. I'm slightly nervous about this, actually, because this really needs to sit nice and flush with the rest of the casing. Let's see what these look like on the clock face. There we go. That will sit there. That's nice and flat. Let's see if this one sits. Lovely. I'm going to give everything a clean with my homemade or barn-made cleaning solution. And already, just with a quick wipe, you can see how much dirt is coming off of the surface.
This dial is certainly a mess. I think when the water poured onto it, it's actually taken a lot of the paint of the numerals off. And it's actually a card dial. So there's not a lot I can do with it. So I've decided to get all of this old card dial off and replace it with a new card dial that I can pop on.
Thanks to his new paint job, the garden athlete is shining brightly. But that's not quite the look that Brenton is after.
Now that paint is dry, it does look a little bit new because it's all the same colour. And so I'm going to try and tone this paint down a bit by applying a dark wax, which will just make it look a little bit older. I've been in a similar situation to Helen, and my mother passed away, and there were some garden statues in her garden, and I've now got them in my garden, and it does remind me of my mother when I see those statues. I'm hoping that when Helen gets this into her garden, she's going to absolutely love it.
Now Helen is back to collect the much-loved miniature statue, hoping it can take pride of place as a reminder of her late mother.
The last few months have been really hard. It's been a very raw and emotional time, but to have the statue back It's something that I've been able to control in all the things that haven't been able to be fixed. It's just that lovely link back to my mum.
Here she is.
Hi.
Hello, Helen.
Hi, Helen.
How you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Can't complain.
Nice to see you both.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Oh.
You okay?
Yeah.
That's it. Just breathe.
Deep breath.
So what are you hoping for?
Just hoping to see him upright and attached to his leg again,
Okay.
because he just looked pathetic with the leg sticking out the concrete. Oh.
Ready?
Yeah.
That's it. Take a deep breath. You'll be fine. That's it.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I can't believe it. You can't see the joint. Where was his leg broken? I love the colour, the detail on him. You couldn't see his face before, or his hair, or anything, could you?
No.
I just don't know how you've done it. You have been blessed with some skills, because that is incredible.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much. Oh, I wish, yeah.
You wish what?
I wish my mum could see it. I wish my granddad could see it. I'm so moved that you would do that.
Well, I understand what it means to...
To find him in the state he was in, it was just another layer of sadness to deal with.
Yeah.
But to see him like that, it brings nothing but joy to me. To be able to have a physical piece of her garden to take away with me and have in my garden for the future is just such a special thing. Yeah.
Well, Helen, thank you for bringing us in. I'll take this out to the car because it's quite heavy. All right?
OK, thank you. Appreciate that.
All right.
And thank you both. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Brenton. Thank
You're
you.
more than welcome. Ready?
Ready?
Okay.
I'm really surprised at how comforted I feel by it. It just feels like, yeah, something positive that's come from everything. I'm so proud of him now, and just want her to see him sat there. And I hope that she loves him, and she will. She will be able to see him, I'm sure.
Lucia is now ready to repair the damaged canvas on the 1930s portrait.
I'm applying patches to the 2 tears at the back before I start cleaning so that their canvas is secured. This is my heated spatula, and the actual patches are a nylon gossamer, and they have a special adhesive film on them which activates at a certain temperature and starts to flow, and then that's when you get the bond between the patch and the canvas, so it sits on there very neatly. Well, it's like a plaster. It just holds everything together. See, that's really neat. I'm pleased with that. That's gone very well. So the tears are lovely and secure, and I can deal with the filling later. I need to clean first before I start doing the filling. Start with the surface clean. Look at the dirt. It's perfectly normal. This painting hasn't been cleaned since it was painted in 1932. It's really satisfying seeing all this amount of dirt coming off. But look what happens when I go over this sort of garnet coloured dress. It's just gorgeous. I'm going to do these buttons and see what they look like under the gloom. Get a better idea of the colour of the dress. I think that top bit was definitely added later. I think she had something that was a little bit more alluring. Honestly, it never fails to thrill me. Once I finish cleaning the whole painting, both the surface dirt and then the varnish, I can actually re-varnish, go back to working on the tears, filling and retouching. It'd be great.
I'm at the filling stage of the portrait of Anna, Amanda's grandmother. I've repaired these tears and they're nice and flat. The paint is missing. I'm using an acrylic filler, which is quick and easy to use and very stable and has good aging properties. The initial application is just pushing it into the fibres. I'm using a dental tool. It's my favourite tool for doing this. It has a very nice head on it and a good angle. I'm going to fill this one now. Sounds very crunchy, but it's a bit like when you go to the dentist and they're chipping away at your teeth and it sounds enormous. There's not really that much going on. So I use a damp swab just to clean the excess around the edges, and it gives me a good view as to what's going on with the level of the fill. I'm nearly done. I can actually see with the eye that it's actually quite smooth. There is a textured canvas surface on here, so I'm happy to leave that. I don't want it to be a completely flat island. I want a little bit of canvas weave texture coming through. I shall come back to them when I'm ready to retouch, and I'm going to do the other two smaller losses. I'm putting the base coats in on top of the filling. I just need to knock the white out so that I've got a good base on which to put my retouching. I'm using a blue, which is a phthalocyanine blue. I'm using yellow ochre because I know, looking in here, I can see that the artist has used a yellow ochre as well. So I'll mix that to get my green, so the blue and yellow make a green. I'm using watercolour. Watercolour is good because it's quite opaque, because when I come in with my synthetic resins, they're quite transparent, so I have to build up layers, and it's very difficult to do that on a white background, so that's why you put the base coat in a different material. It's a complex little dance that you do with the retouchings. I'm just going to keep playing around with the watercolour until I get the shade that I want as the base coat, and then I'll move on to the retouching proper with the synthetic resins and dry pigments.
Will has done such a good job of this clock case. I'm pretty sure he's got all the bits in the right order as well. It was a bit of a jigsaw, but it's nice and strong and steady now, so I'm going to get the mechanism inside and get this finished now. I think Sashti was so upset when everything got water damaged. It really is a transformation back to how the clock would have looked when it was hanging up in Trinidad. That looks brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Just going to get it hung and then test it, and it'll all be ready for Sashti.
Sashti was chosen by her father as the custodian of the family clock that meant so much to him. But an unfortunate accident left the treasured timepiece badly damaged.
I think about my dad all the time. He's always there with me, always. I'm excited because I can't wait to see what magic Steve has done to the clock. It's a huge part of us and our family, so it's very, very important. Hello.
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 How you doing, Sashti? You all right?
I'm all right, thank you.
I'm really excited to see your reaction.
I can't tell you how I'm feeling. I'm just full of excitement, full of nerves as well, because I'm so happy to see what you're going to be unveiling. Hopefully, it's not a jigsaw puzzle anymore.
You want it put back together?
Absolutely. It's triggered a lot of childhood memories since I brought the clock back in. I've been thinking about the times when I was a child growing up with my dad reading the newspaper while I sat on the hammock, chatting to me, having a banter, laughing, joking, and those are the happy memories that triggered.
Well, I hope once you see it, it'll bring back even more of those happy memories.
You want to go for it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You got it working.
I have.
This is exactly how I remembered it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really nice, really, really nice. It's incredible. Thank you, Steve.
You're very welcome.
Goodness. It's all together and all in one piece.
Yes.
It's incredible. He would love it.
Yeah.
He'd be absolutely delighted. And it will sit in our hallway and we would be reminded of him every day.
Do you remember, like, the strike?
Yes, I do remember the chimes.
Would you like to hear it?
I'd love to hear it. Oh my goodness, this is exactly how it sounded. Absolutely, this is waking me up for school. I never thought I'd hear it chime again. Never thought so.
It's been a real joy to do this, so thank you.
I'm delighted with the result.
Thank you for bringing it in.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you both of you very, very much. And to Will.
Yes.
Thank you.
You take
Thanks.
care now.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
All I associate with the clock is my dad. Seeing it now, he would be smiling down and he would be over the moon and absolutely delighted. I feel as though I got a piece of my dad back today.
Lucia's restoration of the portrait is almost complete.
The retouching went well, giving it a few sprays of lovely varnish, and it sits quite well on this. And yeah, I'm pleased with the way she's looking. I'm hoping that Amanda, when she sees her grandmother, will be thrilled too. But grandmother Anna, a very beautiful woman, is ready to go back into her frame.
Amanda's grandmother treasured this painting her entire life after her father forbade her from marrying the artist who painted it.
This painting is probably my most treasured possession. It makes me feel like she's with me. So I have really missed having the painting because it feels like Gran's been away on holiday. So I'm looking forward to getting her back.
Hello, Amanda, great to see you.
And you, Lucia, hi.
Oh,
How are you?
I'm very well, and you know what the thing is? Having worked on this portrait, I see her in you so much, but anyway.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, for sure, for
Oh,
sure.
how lovely.
Have you missed her?
Yes, very much so. The house has felt really different without her.
Yeah.
We've all missed her. We can't wait to take her home.
Yeah, that's great. Where's she going to go when you go home?
Well, she's got a spot that's been looking very sad without her in our hall, and she looks down the hall over Lochfine.
Oh.
So I know that's where she'd be absolutely delighted with the view she's got.
OK. Are you ready to be reunited, Amanda, with your very beautiful grandmother?
Absolutely. I just can't wait to see her.
OK, here goes.
Oh. Wow. Hi, Granny. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. She just looks so beautiful. No more holes. Oh, my... Oh, thank you so much. She just looks amazing. I wish she could see it. I wish she could. It's just so stunning. I'm absolutely overwhelmed with what a difference you've made and what a job you've done. It's really, really beautiful.
I'm glad you think so.
Thank
It's
you.
a beautiful portrait of a beautiful woman.
Well, for somebody who was so beautiful inside and out, it's a much more fitting tribute to her memory. To see it and not have the holes in it makes the world of difference as well, because it was just looked so shabby. Thank you. It's just incredible.
I think, you know, the colours are fantastic.
The colours are fantastic. You've really brightened her up. Her dress looks amazing because that just looks so dark, and her cheeks seem pinker. She actually looks like she's glowing.
And very knowing.
And very knowing.
So when you get home, Amanda, are you going to have a celebration with a white wine and...
Yes, very much so. I just wish she could have it with me. We could both sit and look at it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Lovely to meet you.
And you. Amazing. I'm completely overwhelmed by the job that Lucia has made of the portrait of my gran. It's just mind-blowingly beautiful. She wore her heels and lipstick till she was 101 and was very smart and glamorous, so that painting is much more fitting for Granny than it was previously.